for today. So if I can, she can whistle too. So anyway, good morning. I'm Laura Smith, and I'm here with Renee Wagner and Bruce Jost. And the three of us have had the pleasure of serving as your Achieving the Dream co-leaders for the last 3 years, and now into our 4th year. And this morning we wanted to come before you with an announcement, a very important announcement, that this week the Achieving the Dream organization named the leader colleges within Achieving the Dream for the country. And so this year we're very excited and happy to tell you that Jefferson Community and Technical College has been named a leader college within Achieving the Dream. And I would like to tell you why that is so significant. First of all, we are very young as an Achieving the Dream college. We just finished our 3 years and are starting our 4th year. To qualify as a leader college, you have to have statistical evidence that your interventions are successful in helping students close those achievement gaps, improve your retention rates, graduation rates. And so because we are so new at this, it's really kind of astounding that we actually made it through this process and were awarded this honor, because we've done a lot of work in a very short amount of time. So we're super excited about that. And as faculty, I know it's really important to you that this isn't just about which colleges they liked or which ones had the most glamorous interventions. It's all data-based. It's all about the evidence, statistical evidence that our interventions are working and making a difference in the lives of our students. So we're super excited and wanted to share that and say thank you to all of you, all of us at this college who have put so much effort into this important work. Do you all have anything to add? Okay. And so now we actually join the ranks of colleges like our guest today from Patrick Henry Community College, who are amongst the first of the Achieving the Dream leader colleges. So we are proud to be in your company. And now I'd like to bring forward our provost, Diane Calhoun French, who will do an official welcome.
Actually, I don't do anything very official, so as you can probably tell. So, good morning, everybody. It's nice to see so many people on a beautiful Friday. So, Dr. Newberry would be here, but he is at the counselors. We're having all the high school counselors here, so he is at that luncheon. One of the advantages for me of serving on SACS reaffirmation committees is that I get to meet people from all over the South who are doing wonderful things. And so I've heard some about this program and related programs that Patrick Henry has, because Greg and I were on the SACS team together about 3 years ago, probably. And so he was able to tell me a little bit of the things that they've been doing at their college, and it's really exciting. And it's a pleasure to have you here. And thank you all for coming and doing this on a beautiful fall. Spring, no, summer.
Fall.
It is fall. Okay. Fall, yes, fall day. So, what we're going to hear about today is Patrick Henry's SCALE program. Now, that could mean a lot of things. I think we've heard that term used before, but this means, in this case, Southern Center for Active Learning Excellence. And I think all of us who heard Mark Taylor 2 or 3 years ago now were galvanized by the kinds of things that he talked about in terms of making learning interactive and engaging, and the way in which that active learning enhances the learning experience. They have had wonderful, verifiable increases in success, student success, and retention and completion rates. And so we are very happy to have them here. The title of their program is Fostering Student Relationships. So please help me welcome them and thank them for being here.
Thank you all. We are delighted to be here. I'm Greg Hodges. I'm the Dean for Academic Success and College Transfer Programs at Patrick Henry Community College. We're going to kind of divide our program up. I'm going to introduce these three great instructors that are with me, and I'll let them tell a little bit more about themselves when they do their part of the program. But I want to tell you how excited we are to be here. This is actually our third attempt at being here. And so we're actually delighted to be on your campus. For those of you who don't know the story, the first time we tried to make it, there was some kind of convention going on, and there was not a hotel room to be found or within 100 miles. So we had to reschedule, and we rescheduled it for February the 13th, which goes down in history in our community as the third largest snowstorm we've ever had. 15 inches we got that day, and so everything was shut down. And then we almost got lost this morning, so we decided we were a year late. What was 5 more minutes? We are thrilled to be here. I have with me this morning Bronte Miller. Bronte is one of our developmental math faculty members. She was the developmental math faculty member of the year for the National Association of Dev Ed a couple of years ago. She's an outstanding instructor. And then I also have Michelle Zollers. Michelle teaches both developmental English and on-level English and has traveled the country not only talking about cooperative learning, as all three of these have, but also our accelerated learning project we call ALP. We'll chat a little bit more about that today. And then we also have Joyce Staples, who is a member of SCALE and also teaches our on-level English and also serves as a faculty coordinator for English, as does Michelle for developmental English, as did, past tense, Bronte for developmental. So she's glad to no longer be wearing that hat. So again, we're delighted to be here, and we're going to kind of dive in with you just a little bit this morning and give you, my part of the program this morning is to give you just a little bit of background and to talk a little bit about our journey with cooperative learning, why we chose cooperative learning as our initiative. Before I do that, I want to congratulate you as well. Getting Leader College is no easy task. As your co-chair just said, you have to show demonstrated with data academic or progress or success, graduation retention in subcategories related to multiple areas. So I applaud your efforts, and as we know, that's what we're all about, is getting students through completed. So let's dive in, and you know what, I'll just do it this way.
The other way.
All right. As Diane said, we are SCALE, Southern Center for Active Learning Excellence. We joined Achieving the Dream in 2005, which means we are around one school. We were one of the original 20-plus schools that joined Achieving the Dream. It was a very, very small organization when we joined with the national funding partners, the Lumina Foundation, and other funding partners. It is now the nation's largest non-governmental community college reform network, boasting over 200 community colleges from 30 states and multiple funding partners. And I share that with you because I want you to know that the company you're keeping with Achieving the Dream is very, very important. It is a group of colleges, a group of professionals who are dedicated to moving the bar in student success. That's what it's all about, especially for low-income and minority students, students of color, but particularly in improving graduation rates. We also were the first group of leader colleges in 2008 when that designation first came about. We were awarded the Developmental Education Initiative Grant through ATD with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We're also awarded the Catalyst Grant to go in, which is paying for this training to go by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to go out and do this work, which is to improve student engagement in the community college classroom. The Catalyst Grant led the expansion of this training. So we like to say that Bill and Melinda Gates are our BFFs because they're paying for us to go across the country and talk to Achieving the Dream schools about how important student engagement is. Let me ask you a quick question. How many of you came up at one point and you were a public school teacher? Raise your hand. Public school teachers. Little spot in heaven for us public school teachers. We are talking about an initiative called cooperative learning, and I like to share this because cooperative learning is not what you heard about in public school. When I first started teaching in public school, I taught 12 years, 2nd and 3rd grade. My very first faculty meeting, I was so excited. The principal got us all together in the library, my first day on the job, and he said, research shows that students learn well in groups, so put those kids in groups. And that was the extent of our professional development. And then the next year, after listening to all the teachers grumble and the parents grumble and the students complain, we're back in that same faculty meeting room, that same first day of class, and he says, this has been a failure. Put them back in rows. This is not that animal. I promise you, you're going to see something entirely different. If you have been around for a little while, you will note that in the first decade of the 21st century, there was a series of major national publications that came out that said the American higher education system has got to change. Came out with a series of reports that said if we don't change some of the ways that we do things, we're going to become further and further behind our international counterparts. I've got just a few of them listed there, including the our most recent White House summits now on higher education, that says if we don't change the graduation rates, the retention rates, and the completion rates, and the certification rates of our students, and particularly, frankly, our community college students, then we're going to become internationally left behind. Some of you are already nodding your head, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, with all of that literature that came about, the Lumina Foundation came out with a goal. The ETS said we're in a perfect storm, and that perfect storm said that there are three things that are happening. And some of you probably are well aware of this. The first one was a divergent skills distribution. In other words, the skill sets that are needed for the jobs that we will soon see in the future are often not being communicated in our community college and our university settings. The second part of that perfect storm is a changing economy. Nowhere is that more evidence than our little neck of the woods. Some of you may have experienced this as well, but the economy is radically different. The jobs that are available are radically different than what they were even 5-10 years ago. As an example, Henry County, Virginia, where we are located. When I was growing up in that county, we were the textile capital of America. We were the furniture-making capital of America. Now we're the unemployment capital of Virginia. Because all of those jobs have left, that factory line mentality has left, and the jobs that are available now cannot be attained with just a high school credential. Gone are the days in our neck of the woods where a person can gain only a high school credential and make an economic viable livelihood. So the message that we're communicating is that the changing economy, divergent skills distribution, and number three, a changing demography. In other words, the folks that we're educating today in our community colleges, in our universities, are very, very different than what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. Because of some budget situations at our campus, all of our higher level administrators, deans, vice presidents, and presidents are teaching a class now every semester for free. And my president is an English teacher, and that's one of the divisions that I supervise. So she's gone back into the classroom for the first time in 15 years, and she came up to me 2 weeks ago and she said, what I'm teaching today is nowhere near what I taught 15 years ago. And a lot of you are nodding your heads. She said, if I taught the curriculum that I taught 15 years ago, today, most of these students would not pass. I'm a Baptist preacher, so if you want to say amen, that's okay. I pastor a church as well. Can I get a witness? Amen. We understand that the students that we have today are radically different than what they were 5, 10, 15 years ago. So, the Lumina Foundation came out with a national goal that has been picked up by multiple organizations, including the President, including the National Education Association and the Higher Education Commission, has picked up a national goal that by 2020, 60% of America's workforce, age 18 and above, by 2025, by 60% must have a post-high school credential. By 2025, 60% of America's workforce, 18 to 64, must have a post-high school credential. So I want to ask you a question, and I would like you to talk about it with somebody beside you, and if no one is beside you, you may have to get up and move. If no one is around you, I'm going to ask you to turn and talk to somebody other than yourself. Why 60%? What's the magic behind 60%? Why not 75%? Why not 40%? Why not 80%? What is it about 60% that the Lumina Foundation has established this goal that's been so widely adopted? By 2025, 60% of America's workforce must have a post-high school credential. 3 minutes. Why 60%?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Jeffrey Money.
Okay, terrific.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. You teaching?
No, I just staff.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, you can get your eventually.
Well, actually, I'm working on my bachelor's degree at U of L. It started this semester. Major, it's occupational leaders and learning.
What you gonna do with that?
I'm not sure, but I could like do training, human resources, things like that. And I'm interested in human resources, so I could work in human resources, do like trainings, in-house trainings and things like that.
Get it.
1 minute. I'm going to give you one more minute. All right, let me interrupt your conversations. Let me interrupt you if I may. Hardest thing about cooperative learning is to get folks to stop being so cooperative. That's all right. Teachers are always the worst students. All right, let's chat about this. Let's process this for just a moment. Brave soul representing a awesome duo or trio wants to stand and share why you think 60% is the goal. And if nobody volunteers, we'll voluntold, so it's your choice. All right, stand up.
Just because oh no, you're gonna make me use a mic? I said that. Hi, I'm Reagan. I think a lot of you know me more than you want to. Okay, so we came up with an equation that we don't know if it's true or not, and we asked Greg about what the rate is now, which I think would help, but
you'll find out. Hold on.
he wouldn't tell us. It was very mean. But we thought that it was the combination of the baby boomers preparing to retire, which jobs will be kept and which will be lost, plus the unemployment rate, plus new jobs being developed, then somewhere in there you have to divide by what's being outsourced to another country. We didn't have a number, but that's what we came up with.
Can I tell you that it is nowhere near that complex? We are talking about our federal government. The only thing that is that complex is the tax system, and even they don't understand it. Thank you, Reagan. 60% is passing. Okay, that's interesting. Caroline said 60% is passing. Just barely. Anybody else have something you want to share? One more? One more.
Well, Barbara told me.
That's all you need to say, brother.
That was an analysis of the workforce and the jobs that would require that level of education.
All right. Interesting. All right, where is Barbara? Stand up, Barbara. Barbara, you are exactly right. Barbara is exactly right. All of the national economic data that's available to us say that by 2025, the jobs that will be created and will be available to us will require, 60% of them will require a post-high school credential. So this is not a dart, if you will, that was thrown blindly to come up with this goal. This is an incredibly important goal that's been set before us. And says if we don't, now listen carefully and please get this, if we don't reach this goal, we'll not be able to fill the jobs that will be created. I just told you a moment ago that our community is, our county is the unemployment capital of Virginia. Here's the staggering part of it. At any moment there are over 200 unfilled jobs. And we can't get them filled. Our employers tell us all the time, we want folks that can A, pass a drug test, and B, have the skill set. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. All right, Michelle, if you would. So now I've got 4 questions for you that I want you to chat about. 4 questions that I want you to come up with for some solid figures. Number 1, as we just heard, where is America now? What percent? Don't Google it. Hold on. What percentage of America's workforce, age 18 to 64, has at least a post-high school credential now? Number 2, what state is the best educated?
And what is their percentage? That's a two-part question. Number 3, who are our international competitors? And what are their percentages? And finally, where's Kentucky? And your service region. What the counties that Jefferson serves, what are their rates? It's 4 questions with multiple parts. So I'm going to give you 5 or... Yes, sir.
Are we talking any post-secondary?
Any post-secondary credential. Okay, any post-secondary credential. Now, the Lumina Foundation describes that as a certificate or above. We know that we give out career study certificates and even workforce credentials. And so we'll use the Lumina Foundation's definition. But for this purposes, that's what we're talking about. Does that make sense to you? All right? So because you got multiple points of this, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. You're not going to be able to chat long, but see if you can come up with some figures. Two-minute warning, so get your ideas down. Let's get some information to you, answer these questions. All right, here we go. Now, let me ask you, how many of you are very confident in all of your answers? You are, the only one who's filming. There you go. All right. First of all, where is America currently? What is, this is data as of 2013, where are we currently? And by the way, this is all coming from the document called Lumina Foundation, A Stronger Nation Through Higher Education. A Stronger Nation Through Higher Education that has been adopted across multiple disciplines, as I'll show you in just a moment, or multiple initiatives. Where is America currently? Somebody want to give me a brave guess? Yes, sir. 42%. I'll take two more. One more. Yes, sir. 35. All right. Anybody? Let me ask, anybody above 50? Anybody below 15? All right. Well, the correct answer is 38%. 38% of America's workforce, age 18 to 64, has a post-high school credential. 38%. Now let's go to the second one. What state is the best educated? Part one. And part two, what is their percentage? What state is the best educated and what is their percentage? Let's take the state first. Yes, ma'am.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Anybody have a different state? Yes, ma'am.
We were leaning towards Massachusetts, and then we decided the population is so large that having a high percentage might be difficult, so we switched to Vermont.
Vermont.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Fewer people.
Okay, we've got Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Anybody else? Say again?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Florida.
Florida. Connecticut. New York. Washington, Maine. All right, correct. The state that is the best educated state in our country, in other words, has the highest rate of post-high school credential for working force, is in fact Massachusetts. But before you get so excited, they're still under 50%. And at their current trajectory, even they will not meet the 60% threshold. In other words, there is not a state in our country, that at their current trajectory will meet the benchmark.
What percent are they?
I'm going to share that with you in just a few minutes. We'll get back to that. I'm going to show you in just a few minutes all of these states if you're interested. All right? Let's go to the third one, our international competitors. Who do you think is our most, that's not the right word, who is our biggest international competitor in terms of higher education? The percentage of their population, workforce, that is the best educated. Japan. Germany, India, Denmark,
Finland.
Norway, Denmark, Finland. Ironic, everywhere we've gone, folks usually don't guess this, and you'll understand why. Correct answer is Canada. Canada. Now, part of that is because of the size of their population. And their percentage is 55%. 55% of the Canadian workforce, age 18 to 64, has a post-high school credential. You understand that the smaller the population, the easier it is to get a greater percentage. Our other competitors include Japan, North Korea. Japan and North Korea. All right? Now, yeah, North Korea. Who's going to go to college? They make you go there. That's right. Now, let's get to the $1 million question. Let's get to the $1 million question. Where is Kentucky? What is the percentage of the educated population of Kentucky? 22, Diane says. Anybody else? 23. Anybody think it's higher than 30? All right, well, let's see. Michelle, if you'll go out to that website for us. And where I pulled up is, and you'll go down a couple of pages. Oh, you've gone, we went up to Maine, yeah. Just do the page up and page down. It may be easier that way. That's all right. Well, you're probably right. Why should I have doubted? Louisiana. Yeah, I had it. Yeah, there we go. This is Kentucky right now at 2012, 31.7%, or we might round it to 32%. All right? We're impressed with that. But I want you to look at the trajectory for Kentucky. Look at the trajectory at the current rate of credential attainment. By 2025, Kentucky will be at about 40%, which is about average, frankly. That's about average. So I share that with you, and we're going to look at your individual county service regions in just a moment. I share that with you because I want you to understand that our task is great. If we're going to educate the next generation of workers, then what we've always done will only get us the same results we've always had. And some of you are nodding your head, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Michelle, just go down a page if you would, so we can get to the individual service regions. What are the counties that you serve? That's it right there. What county do you serve, Diane?
Jefferson.
Jefferson. All right, Jefferson is 39.87%. 40%. Is there another county that you serve? Oldham. Oldham, pardon me. Oldham, almost 50%. Shelby, 31%. Bullitt is 23%. Henry, 20%. So you get the drift. You can go look this up. Interestingly, in Virginia is now the quote-unquote most business-friendly state in the country. And Virginia is touted as an economy that has been completely turned around. Virginia is a tale of two states, and it's not Virginia and West Virginia. It's Northern Virginia Tidewater and everybody else. And when you look at Northern Virginia and Tidewater service regions, you get 70 and 80%. And then when you look at everybody else, you get 20%, sometimes below. We have counties in Virginia that are in the teens in the coal fields. And I would venture to say Kentucky does as well. For the sake of time, I'm not going to pull up the other states. You can go back and look that up. Again, this is just a stronger nation through through education from the Lumina Foundation. You can look at all of this data, and they update it every biennial, every 2 years. So it's very easy to track the trajectory. Michelle, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Thank you very much. So with all of that said, multiple initiatives picked up this mantra, if you will, including Achieving the Dream, which was the granddaddy of the initiatives. Other initiatives that have jumped on this bandwagon include Completion by Design, CBD, which our state is now investigating as well as a state system. Complete College America, the College Completion Initiative, West Virginia Completion Project, Texas Completion Initiative, multiple initiatives have picked this message up, all with the same message, which is we have to increase our percentage of college graduates. Now, as you well understand, one way to do that is just dumb down everything. We can produce the graduates, but that doesn't mean they'll have the skill set. So I want you to understand that is not what we're suggesting at all. Each of these initiatives that I've alluded to here have all underscored what we're going to talk about for the rest of the day, which is engaging the students in the classroom. I think most of us understand that lecture is no longer the best way to reach the masses. Most of us were probably taught in a classroom setting just like this, maybe not without this technology, where there was a professor who stood right there who talked to us for 3 hours. I can't think of a more painful way to die. But the reality is, if we are a lecturer, then we are just not reaching the masses today. And so our program for you is how we take your content and we reinvigorate it into a cooperative learning content. So let me quickly give you some PH data, and then I'm going to sit down and turn this over to these ladies who do it every day. All right? Tracking our numbers. If you pull up the Chronicle of Higher Education, this is perhaps the most frightening statistic of all for me. In 2004, 4.3 million freshmen started in community colleges. 2004, the Chronicle of Higher Education started a cohort tracking of 4.3 million freshmen. Go to the next bullet. 3 million of them have not yet graduated. 70% have not yet graduated in 10 years. Lest we think that's horrible, those statistics are pretty average. I will tell you that at Patrick Henry, we don't have a problem recruiting students. We have a problem retaining students. You're nodding your heads, you understand. And it's not even from fall to spring. We lose about 25%. That's not too bad. But from fall to fall, we lose 55% of our students. They don't graduate, they don't transfer, they just don't come back. They are the ones that we have to reach if we're ever going to get to that 60% threshold. So, go ahead. So let's talk about the local economy and local numbers. I hope we always include this. This went up last year in Austin. UT Austin also partners with Austin Community College, and the business partners put up this sign right outside the front gate of Austin Community College. And it says, in case you can't read it, 4% of Austin Community College students graduate in 3 years. Is that a good use of tax dollars? Right outside the front gates. I don't need to tell you what that did to ACC's enrollment. To be very blunt, if you went to a doctor who said to you, I'm successful on about 9% of my patients, the other 91% I lose, you're probably going to find a different physician. Now, there are lots of factors behind this that Austin certainly says they have little to no control over, and we all understand that. But I'm going to say what I said earlier. If we continue to do the same thing that we've always done, we're going to get the same results we've always got. And those results are staggering. All right?
Greg, do you know what the president's response was to that?
I do, but you go ahead and share it, Diane.
He said, when the reporters came and talked to him about it, he said, that sign is absolutely wrong. Our graduation rate is 3%. Gross.
I'll give you one more frightening number. It's called the disappearing minority male. The percentage of
my daughter knows.
Yeah. The percentage of minority males who graduate in 3 years or less is less than 1%. Less than 1%. Graduate from a community college. The disappearing minority male. And so oftentimes with Achieving the Dream, Completion by Design, any of the Gates initiatives, you will see initiatives that are targeted specifically to minorities and minority males, like Black, Brown, and College Band. Just started on a sax committee with one of the presidents of BBCB. It's a wonderful initiative. Laser-like focus on trying to retain and mentor minority males. All right. What we have seen at our institution, I'm going to give you some quick local data and then get to the heart of this. What we have seen at our institution is that, please get this is not the panacea, this is not the magic bullet. This is not the fix-all. This is not the one thing that's going to turn it all around, because there isn't one thing. But this does help. And what we have seen is that our retention rate since 2004, our retention rates and our fall-to-fall persistence rates and our 2- and 3-year graduation rates have all increased significantly since we began utilizing cooperative learning since 2004. This is not 1, 2-year data. This is 7, 8, 9, 10 years old of cohort data we've been tracking. We've seen statistically significant increases as this initiative has spread throughout our campus. You know what, I'm not going to read all of this. You can look at it and see that the highest increases have come from minority students. This is a Gateway English. Notice that says 2008 through 2011 cohorts, and you may think, whoa, that's old. If you know anything about cohort tracking, you track them 2 and 3 years out. So the 2011 cohorts are just those that graduated 3 years graduation rates in the spring of 2014. So this is recent data. The minority students had an increase of 60%. Notice we've still got a tremendous amount of work to do. A lot of work to do. But the vectors are pointing in the right direction. Go to the next one, Michelle, if you would. This is the one I'm frankly most proud about. We've got a diminishing success gap in Gateway English between minority students and non-minority students. And I have termed this our diminishing success gap, showing that the trajectory here and a negative is heading the right direction. We want to see that success gap shrink between minority and non-minority students. Percentage of who transferred has grown 26%. Completed all Dev Ed writing courses has grown by 78%. Keep going, we'll give you all of this. And our math, developmental math courses has grown as well. And again, like most institutions, the area that we struggle with the most is developmental math and gateway math. That is not a surprise. If you teach math, you recognize that already. All right. We'll come back to that if we have time. All right. So, I'm going to give you one other piece of data from another college that we've trained multiple times. We've trained almost 100 schools now, either at our annual institute or going out and doing this. Texarkana is a school that has adopted these strategies faithfully. We've gone there multiple times, and Michelle is about to go back again to do a 4th training with Texarkana, looking at cooperative learning in the distance learning format. And their data, keep going, their data has been significant as well. They have seen retention rates increase by almost 60%. And you can see their successful course completion rates have risen dramatically as well, before active learning training and after active learning training. And so I submit to you that when we go through this today, don't think that this is just another good idea. This is not just another initiative that I hope you all put in your back pocket and say, I'm done with after the training. This is an initiative that has gained significant traction across the spectrum, across the multiple platforms, all of which are saying we have to better engage our students. All right? How many we got? You'll know why we're counting you. Hold on. What do you think? All right. I'm going to ask you to count for me. And remember your number. So you may need to write it down. If remembering it is a challenge, you may need to write it down. And we're going to start back here with this lovely lady. 1. And we're just going to count off 1 to whatever we get to, okay? So it's not 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. We're just going to start counting. All right. 1,
2,
3, 4.
remember your number, write it down.
5, 6,
7,
8, 9,
10, 11,
13, 14, 15, 16,
17.
18,
19.
21, 22,
23.
24, 27, 29,
30,
31.
32. 33.
34, 35,
36.
37,
38,
39.
40, 41, 42,
43, 44,
45. 46.
47,
48.
49.
50.
50. All right, perfect. He walked out when we got to him. There's somebody here will say he's 51. Are you staying?
No, unfortunately, I'll be back.
Is this your president? What do you mean you're not staying?
A lot of energy in this room.
Nice to meet you. We're delighted to be here. Thank you so much. All right, here's what we're going to do. Can we let him take a restroom break? All right, it is 10 till. Here, now listen carefully. At our institution, when we take breaks of 10 minutes, they sometimes turn out to be 35. We're not doing one of them breaks. We're going to do a quick 10-minute break. Listen carefully. If you are an odd number, you're going to stay in this room. If you are an even number, you're going to join Michelle and I next door in that room. All right? Now, let's make sure you know. If you're an odd number, would you raise your hand? Hands down. If you're an even number, would you raise your hand? That should be everybody else. If you're not sure, put up both hands and ask a math instructor. All right? 10-minute break. Odds and evens, you know where to go. We'll join up again in 10 minutes.